Hey, welcome back to our 3-in-1 fellowship, our midweek, our worship. Just a few minutes together to continue to reinforce all the important things that we have going on in our lives and to refocus on Jesus as the main thing. And in the last week, I left you with a message and challenge to change something, to make a difference, to change something. Not just make a difference in somebody else, but to change something in your life to move you from member or participant to disciple. You know, imagine making this analogy. Imagine we tied it to one of your secular and your social groups. And I got thinking there could be thousands that I could talk to and to everybody about it, whatever it is. But pick one of yours. But imagine this, that you're a new parent and your child just entered kindergarten or the first grade, and you join the PTA because you want to be part of that. You want to make sure your child knows that you support them. But for a while, you just carry the card, or maybe it sits in your dresser drawer. And if somebody says, "Oh, you're the member of the PTA?" Of course I am. I'm a member of the PTA. I'm in the PTA. But are you really? Are you really? I'll bet it changes, though, when you become the one who decides to lead a group or a committee, if we wish, to solicit the county government to either add funds, add curricula, take curricula, or decrease funds in another area. And you take the lead. You begin putting what you believe into action, because that would then take you from a form of membership to, for our purposes, a form of discipleship in the PTA. You see, the means of grace are ways that God works invisibly in disciples. See, people who come through the prevenient grace to the saving grace of Christ and then start living out their lives in sanctifying grace, means of grace, acts of mercy, acts of kindness, acts of piety. These things are coming into play each and every day. Our faith then becomes action. See, and a lot of times, unfortunately, we have a lot of action and not a lot of faith. And then we sometimes have faith, which is great, and Jesus says, all who come to me are welcome, but then he's looking for us to live it out. In fact, John Wesley echoed the writer in the book of James, whereas the book of James says, faith without works is dead. Well, Wesley pretty much through his means of grace is saying faith without works is dead, without means of grace, acts of piety and acts of mercy. So, do you just attend church? Or maybe you're thinking about church, or maybe you don't go to church because you think the church is a whole bunch of stuff, but yet you're not willing to go in and change the church. You know, said, how does it work in your marriage or in your dating relationship or in your relationship with your best friends or someone else if you just are there? You're just in it. You're married. You're dating. You're best friends, but you don't participate in the relationship. Jesus said the church is his bride. Therefore, we are in a marital relationship with God himself. God thinks of us as his bride. And if we don't participate in that relationship, we aren't growing in discipleship, living out means of grace, how do we expect to change? How do we expect to feel close to God? How do we expect there to be an intimate relationship? See, and then unfortunately, many of us, we believe that we just claim a church. Oh, yeah, oh, that church? Yeah, I went there when I was a child. So that's kind of my church. Haven't been back in 20 years. Haven't sent any giving. Haven't made any prayers. You haven't lived out the confirmation class or the baptism vows that were made on your behalf as an infant or made on your own your behalf as an adult. See, we claim that, but we don't participate in anything. Oh, we show up for the church dinners once a year. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. But is that participating in the marriage of Jesus Christ and the church? Then life turns south. Then some tragic thing happens in our lives, and we go, where's God? And God is saying, I'm right here, and you can't see me because you haven't participated in a relationship. You've stayed in member and never became a disciple. You stayed in saving grace and never lived out any sanctifying, defying grace. So tonight I want to challenge you to begin practicing something from Wesley's list of works of piety. Now we'll get to the works of mercy in the next couple of weeks. The works of piety are going to come in individual practices and communal. Two categories. Works of mercy will come in individual and in community. An individual practice of piety. This is your first list of choices. Reading, meditating, studying the scriptures. Prayer and fasting. I'm not telling you to not eat for days. Fasting. Fasting can be from a meal. But don't just go, oh, I fasted, I didn't eat. Oh, I feel better, I lost a pound. No. You fast because you replace it with reading, meditating, studying the scriptures. Another individual practice in works of piety, Wesley says, is regularly attending the worship. I don't care if it's in person or online. Are you attending at all? In person is where we'll get to be more communal. Healthy living. Are you living healthy? Is your lifestyle a healthy one? Do you honor the temple of God? And are you sharing your faith with other people? See, you can't share what isn't yours, though. Remember, that's where we started. Now, you could have a communal act of piety, and that could be regularly sharing in the sacraments, Christian conferencing, accountability to one another, and Bible study. Beginning tonight, pick at least one of these works of piety and try to practice it every day. Now, when we meet next week, I want you to review your week. Not with me. I want you to review your week before we turn on for next week. Write down how your active walk with Christ has changed based on your acts of piety. Next week, we'll talk about the second category of the means of grace, and that is communal practices. Until then, practice your relationship with Jesus Christ. Be a part of it. It doesn't just happen any more than any other relationship. You are practicing relationships, I guarantee it. But are you practicing the only one that lasts for eternity? See, until you do that, church will just be church, and it'll be separate from everything else in life. And that's not how Christ intended it. Until then, I hope to see you at Bible study. I hope to see you at Midweek. I hope to see you in worship on Sunday, either online or in person, and participating in the discipleship that has been promised you through the grace of Jesus Christ. Hope to see you back at 3-in-1 soon. See ya.